So, we're right back into another Dragon Ball Super Card Game video. I am yet again not alone. I have Mr. Trey here. I forgot what I was going to say, but what I do know is that he did have a top 16 Chicago this last weekend, going into PPG, or PPT really, Invitational this next weekend with Serge Piccolo. So how's it going? What's up?
Not too bad. Ended up doing pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. Top 16 and a good, 230 or so people, right?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was like 220-ish, something like that.
Okay, that's a good amount. That is definitely a good amount. Do you want to introduce yourself? Say a little bit of something about yourself.
So, name's Travonte Williams. Generally just go by Trey. Been playing for 2 years. I didn't start right when the game came out, but a little bit after, and I've enjoyed it since I started.
Cool. Right then. That's nice and simple. I dig it. Well, we do have your Serge Piccolo deck on deck. Let me go switch over to that. So let's talk about it a little bit. The first thing, why'd you pick Serge see where I was going with that? Serge Piccolo over Serge Goku or anybody else within the format?
So, I really just like Piccolo as a character. If you know me, I generally play leaders that I either like from the show or, I think they have a cool or unique ability.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought the Surge abilities were really unique. They seem to promote more advanced playstyle, in that you've got to know when to awaken, know how to utilize your awakened side to be as effective as possible.
Right.
So I kind of just liked that little bit of a extra layer to the game. So that was what, and in my testing, he was doing really well. So I could tell he was going to be strong.
Cool. All right. It's nice just to be able to actually pick a leader and be good with it, or at least perform well with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I like Slug, but do you think I would actually top with it? I don't know. Hey, Tile got banned. Listen. But there's a lot of interesting picks here. I think the core of it does have Gogeta, right? I think you opted with the Uneasy Alliance Goku, and a couple other one-ofs, and a lot of different things. But some staples as far as the Draft Box Piccolo, Vegeta the Cruel, Violent Predator, which is great, especially with the Hachiyak running around right now, right? You also the stream match, right?
Yeah.
That was absolutely ridiculous. We got to talk about that because it was just like, I don't know. When I was watching it, because I was watching at work, and I was just like, okay, I turned to it, and then like 10 minutes later, I was like, oh, where's his energy? Because I was like, oh snap, this man was on a train. So we'll talk about that when we talk about the matchups. But I think really here to kind of consider is like, this is a lot of good blue-green stuff, right? And I do have a few questions as far as the choices. So the first one is objection, actually. So a lot of people kind of opt out to objection. Some people say it's good. Some people say it's like, it's now banned. But how do you think it performed within the tourney?
So it was great. And it's funny because it was a last-minute addition. Like, I had been playing the deck without objection up until the day before the event.
Mm-hmm.
And then last minute, because in objection's place previously was the what is that, Piccolo Cunning Strategist, the one to play the Draft Box Piccolo,
Power Booster.
Power Booster, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Previously in objection's place was that because it assisted with filling up drop for Gogeta 7. But last minute, I was like, let's go the objection route because it was previously in my sideboard. And yeah, it showed out in Chicago.
Okay.
So I'm glad I made that decision.
For sure. Okay. All right. Was it just because it helped you get to like Gogeta faster, or is it because you got to charge Ando 21 or what?
So it's funny because Gogeta. So obviously Gogeta was a big factor in this deck, but the objection just allowed for a lot of different plays. It allowed me to get to assimilated ability on the same turn that I would have if I played the power booster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it did allow me to play Gogeta a little bit earlier, even though I generally still waited just to have energy open for Gogeta and hidden potential for backup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the biggest thing was it allowed me to get to the 8 drop a lot faster than otherwise.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so that's really good, and I think that's very important in the obviously the Hashiat matchup. But anybody who's caught slipping and just kind of forget, and majority of their energy is going to be monocolored, it makes sense to go and just slap it down. But the other thing is I'm looking at the sideboard, which we'll talk a little bit. Got some stuff that is sort of makes sense as far as the Dark Banisher. Another basically one ofs to kind of keep it more consistent, which I do see that. Unexpected Turn, Mafuba makes sense. So have you ever considered like the 1-drop extra card as far as to I think it's the Breakthrough and as well as Absolute Release Ball in order to get around like Champa for Gogeta? Or did you think that didn't matter?
So yeah, I definitely did. I was previously mainboarding Release Ball, but it just felt at first I started out with I think 2 in the main, and then eventually it dropped to 1, and then it kind of just it didn't feel significant enough in so the biggest thing about the deck is having options.
Mm-hmm.
So the games where I'm wanting to drop Gogeta 7, it's not that it's bad to have the Release Ball as the follow-up, but it's sometimes not super necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since if I know that I'm playing against a yellow deck that can drop Champa on at the same time that I drop the Gogeta, then I'll just try to hold up hidden potential energy as well.
Okay.
It's not so essential, and with how the leader works, I can essentially make it to where I just wait 1 additional turn to have that additional energy
Right.
up for hidden potential and the Gogeta 7. So
Makes sense.
the Release Ball, I was playing that one over top of the Focus Breakthrough, and I continue to make that decision just because the Release Ball untapping the 1 additional is a pretty big deal.
Definitely.
But I think the deck performed well without it being in the deck.
Okay, fair enough. The same thing goes with Toa. Do you feel like she wasn't needed?
Yeah, Toa just seems more like a win more card.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm gonna drop you to 3 and then I'm gonna also get rid of 2 cards in your hand, you'll have 1 left. I mean, obviously there's a difference between 1 and none, but in most instances, that 1 random card you got off the top 3 isn't gonna be the most significant. So
Yeah.
I opted against her.
Okay. Makes sense. Cool.
And the deck's just kind of tight on space as well. So
Exactly. I think if you mess with any kind of the ratios, you mess with consistency, right? That's the biggest thing. And the other parts is of course the 2 ends of it. What do you think was the highest performer, and of course the lowest?
So Violent Predator was putting in work all week or all Saturday. The weakest card, it's actually a tie between 2 cards. The Awakening Talent Pan. I have her in
Oh, you cut off there. What'd you say?
life, but a lot of the games she was just kind of charged.
You had her in where? You cut off there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's good.
The Awakening Talent Pan.
Yeah.
She felt unnecessary a lot of the time.
Oh, okay.
Just because if my opponent wants to leave me on my front side, I'm generally perfectly fine with that. So I'm not stressing going down to 3. So she didn't feel super necessary. Another card that didn't feel the greatest was the Goku Gohan, but it did have its purpose. for the heartfelt plea matchup. It
Okay.
just come up very much.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense though. I feel like, you know, if they're gonna go for game with heartfelt or just go early with it, you can just stop that. So that's good. And you're saying that the Violet Predator was probably the best card out of the deck throughout the weekend?
Yeah, I had quite a few Hatchie matchups, so dropping her against them was just kind of the dirtiest thing ever.
Okay. Fair enough. How about the sideboard? Do you feel like the sideboard was pretty much set?
So my sideboard, I think I was essentially playing with like a what 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was playing with like a 6-card sideboard.
Oh,
Because there's only 6 cards that I used out of this sideboard.
okay.
It was another situation where everything had its purpose. It was just my matchups didn't recall for a lot of it.
Okay.
So obviously the extra 21 in the side came in for the Hatchie matchups. The Unstoppable Goku came in a couple times as well. I never actually brought in the Mafuba, the extra Goku Gohan, or the Unexpected Turns.
Okay.
So they were there, but it was just kind of how matchups fell. They weren't necessary.
Okay. And we could definitely talk through that as far as matchups go. And, you know, with the reasoning for that. Maybe the last question before we go into that is would you change anything for anybody going to like PPG, or would you give advice for them going into like the Invitational this weekend, or no?
So so we're to take the deck. First off, I don't know if Objection is banned for this weekend, so
no, it's not. Thankfully it's not.
I was like, if it is, then you got to take that out. Obviously.
Yeah.
I think I would opt to drop the Awakening Talent Pans and potentially one of the Goku Gohans for that yellow nail that when you combo with it, you can burst, I think, 2 and play it. Just to assist with getting the Gogeta off, if that's the play you want to go for. It just helps to get there without having to waste cards in hand. Because there were some situations where I'm like, okay, I could drop Gogeta 7, but I don't have quite enough cards in drop, so I would just go a different line of play in those situations. But you know, it's always better to have the extra option.
Yeah. Would you opt into like the Popo, or what's the other one? Popo for green, and then I think Tapion for blue. That mills 3 to stay on color.
Oh, yeah. You could also do that as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, that makes more sense.
I wouldn't go super heavy with it, but yeah, any of those things could really help out.
For sure. Okay. Would you take this again if you were going to go to PPG then?
Yeah, I wouldn't see any reason why not. I really have a lot of fun with the deck, and yeah, it did very well. So, yeah, I would take it.
Cool. All right then.
I would just have to practice some matchups a little bit more.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's for any deck. It's all good. And the whatchamacallit, for set 9, do you feel like you would play this like competitively, or would you play something else? Of course, we haven't seen everything, but you know.
Yeah, I've already got my eyes on something else in set 9, so this will probably go on the back burners a bit.
Okay, so keeping that one close to the chest, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Don't even say anything. That's fine. We can talk a little bit after this. So okay, cool. So let's talk through matchups. What were your matchups throughout the weekend? I think you
I played 3 throughout the day, and then
you played 3 what?
3 Hatchiacs.
3 Hatchiac. Oh wow, jeez. Okay.
Yeah, 2 Janemba.
Okay, sure.
And then I played 1 Baby, and then 1 Surge Q.
Huh. All right. And what was your record?
I ended up finishing 6-1.
All right. So, who was the loss then?
The Surge Q. That was the matchup I had no experience against.
Gotcha. So, I think a lot of people going to that event didn't really realize how strong Surge Goku was, especially like the versatility of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
he's definitely strong.
for sure. Shoot, I think this weekend they're going to see more of it, but another day. But when it comes to it, do you feel like I can already answer this for you, but the easiest matchup is, or what do you think it is?
Hachi.
Okay, there it is. All right. How about second easiest? Like if you were going to be playing Hachiek all day, or against it, that is, what would you rather play against?
Janemba.
Okay, so instead of a Jeanette, so no, that's fine. This completely makes sense. You know, Valiant Predator just destroys Hachiak, and then Gogeta has always have given, you know, Janemba a really bad time. It's very thematic. It's designed that way, so I totally get it. Yeah. Okay. So how about the toughest?
The toughest was definitely the Surge Q. Once again, I think that's due to lack of experience, but on top of that, they kind of they are able to pressure you very heavily with some relatively big guys at the same time. Some of the at least the version I had played against, I think it was just red yellow, and they were just able to go off really like turn 2 pretty much and get me a lot lower than I had wanted to go.
Right.
And then at the same time, dropping a Gogeta 7 against them didn't feel the most impactful because they could just use the Gohan, or not Gohan, the Goku Ape in the drop to draw additional cards back. So yeah, that was probably the toughest. Baby's kind of middle, like I don't even know if I'd say 50-50, just because if you're on the play against Baby's not an issue whatsoever. It's essentially they're watching you play cards.
So basically, it's more die roll than anything.
Yeah, but if the Baby player is on the play, that doesn't mean lose. It just means that you got to put a little bit more effort in because they'll actually be able to go up their chain.
Yeah, for sure. I think I definitely know that, you know, hidden potential is going to be a huge factor in that. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. All right, so closing thoughts then. Things that you want to kind of throw out there for the deck, or anything that we haven't mentioned?
No, not too much. Like I said, the deck's I think really skill intensive. You got to know when to play certain things and how to get yourself set up. On stream, I had kind of messed up my second game by not having a multicolor card and drop, so I couldn't play an 8-drop because I could have used leader skill, but since there wasn't a multicolored and leader can only play a multicolored drop, I was stuck at 7 energy, and then that kind of led me to lose game 2.
Right.
But as long as you can plan for certain things like that and make sure you're setting up things up properly, I think it'll run pretty well against just about anything in the meta.
Cool. All right then. How about shout outs?
Got a couple friends, team. We don't really have a team name, but shouts to them.
Do they have names?
They help.
Do you have names?
Yeah. Sorry. Tyler, Chris, and Kyle. Also Mike and Ryan.
Okay.
A lot of them helped me build the deck, so yeah, kind of all of us getting there.
Cool. All right then. Was Tyler in the Top Cut too? Was that the guy?
Tyler, no.
Oh, okay.
Tyler didn't do the hottest that day.
Oh, don't talk about that. That's fine. We don't have to talk about that. It's cool. It's cool. I've been there. Okay. Cool. All right then. I appreciate you taking the time out. If there's any questions as far as like sequencing or anything else like that, I'm sure you can, watch out for the comments as far as the video goes, and maybe they can reach out to you. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Again, appreciate the time you're taking out. If you haven't already, not you, Trey, but everybody else, like, dislike, subscribe if you're new. We'll see you next one.